16 years ago, life was really good. In fact, it was practically perfect in every way. You know that part in Mary Poppins where the wind changes direction and the weather vane spins? That's sort of what happened. I was really content. My husband and I had a little printing shop. We had a little shop on Main Street, and our children were living near their grandparents, and they got to play with their cousins all the time. Life was really good. And then all of a sudden, my husband got this crazy lust for adventure, and it seems like in a whirlwind, we just sold our business and moved 3,000 miles away from family and everything familiar to the land of testosterone. I mean, the land of the midnight sun. I'm talking about the frozen tundra of Alaska. After a series of unfortunate events, we found ourselves living with 4 young boys in a very small cabin without any running water. I remember reading this years ago. If you own 2 or more pair of shoes, you're in the top 3% of the wealthiest people on the planet. This message came back to me hundreds of times when the fire in the wood-burning stove went out in the middle of the night. I thought of this message while hauling 2 5-gallon buckets of ice-cold water into the cabin to pour into pots to heat on the stove to wash my dishes. And I thought of this message when I was dressed in my jammies all ready to snuggle down at night, and I had to pick up the flashlight and trudge through the snow and go out to the outhouse. It was rough. We survived 2 years in the cabin with an attitude of gratitude. There are some things in life that there's nothing else that can help get you through except just counting your blessings and being thankful for what you have. We had shoes, we had clothes, we had food, we had each other. And we had several pairs of shoes, actually. So life was okay. Can you think of a time when adversity turned out to be a great blessing? This was one of those for me. The purpose of our existence is to have joy. And not just a little bit of joy, but abundant joy. Where is joy found? Is it found in chocolate? Is it found skydiving? Is it found in awards? Is joy found in trips and adventures? Is joy found under the sheets or at the clubs? Well, most of these things can bring excitement and pleasure. None of these things equal joy. Joy is found in the strongest and healthiest relationships. None of those others really bring joy. While living in the cabin, we saved up a little money, and we bought a 16 by 20, or we bought a 1992 6-passenger black Cadillac limousine. We started ourselves in airport service, and we attended the national trade shows, and we studied, and we learned from the best of the best. And in a matter of a few years, we moved out of that cabin, back into a regular house again with plumbing. And during that time, we established contracts with airlines, hotels, cruise ships, travel agents, and corporate jet companies. And along with growing that business, we had set our sights out to be the best of the best. Well, be careful what you wish for, because if you want it, you're going to get it. So as our company grew and grew, we established all these contracts, and pretty soon the phone was ringing 24/7, 365 days a year, there was never a day off. And along the way, some things were happening to our family. Well, there wasn't enough trips to the park. There weren't very many date nights anymore. There weren't very many social interactions with friends. And there were very few visits from those extended family that lived 3,000 miles away. Our whole world seemed to revolve around our company. And it began taking a toll on my body, my marriage, my calling as a mother, and my self-worth. And you can't get water from an empty well. And I was drained nearly empty. Our happiness is directly related to the number of close personal relationships we have and the frequency of positive interactions in those relationships. Nights, Desmond and I were fortunate to fall exhausted into bed at the same time. Our conversations were seldom light and fun, but all about the company. The D word began creeping into his vocabulary. I said, "Oh, no way, big guy. I'm not letting this marriage be another statistic of broken marriages in my family tree. I am not a quitter, and we have got to figure this out." We planned a family fishing trip. It was the best medicine for our marriage and our family. We planned this fishing trip to beautiful Prince William Sound, completely surrounded by mountains and glaciers, and once you go through the Whittier Tunnel, there's no cell phone service. That's the best part of it. No chauffeurs could get a hold of us. Travel agents couldn't get a hold of us. Nobody could get a hold of us. No, not even any texting. So we're through this little tunnel, and I'm so excited, and we're out on the boat, and I just memorized the faces of my boys, laughing as they're pulling in these big, heavy shrimp pots, casting out their lines and reeling in heavy, big, giant splashing salmon. And then we make the boat go over to the shallow edges, and the boat is just gently rocking back and forth. And we all peer overboard, and my husband points out the starfish and the jellyfish. And I wanted to capture that memory and just save it for all eternity. It was the sweetest thing. I said, "This is what life is. That work stuff is not what life is. That's kind of like hell." Family, this is the best stuff, and I want more of this. And I remember praying and saying, "If you can get me out of this, I'll go anywhere. I'll do anything. But I want my family back," and I didn't know how we could have it at the same time, how we could do both. I hadn't even gone to college. I didn't even know. We knew how to grow a business because you just have really good customer service and you promise to do what you're going to say you're going to do. So business just grew and grew. And before too long, that company was the National Midsize Operator of the Year, and just the calls were just flooding in, so it was really, really hard to break out. And I know in order to have abundant joy, we have to develop an attitude of gratitude. We have to stop the distractions and start more interactions. And that's what this trip was. It was just shutting off. If I had had my cell phone and was texting, and while I was out on that boat, taking pictures, loading them up to Facebook, if I would have been worried about like checking in with my friends and people, I would have completely missed the magic of that whole experience. Sometimes we're trying to live in this virtual world, and we're not even really attached to the real world with the people that we love so much. So each night, as we had our family prayers and we tucked our boys into bed, I just really reflected, like, how are we going to move from here to there? And sometimes we need to really evaluate our purpose in life. And I knew that running this company was not my purpose. It was not what I was created for. When I was a little girl, I used to want to grow up and marry a handsome prince and have a beautiful family. And then there I was at age 35. I had the prince and I had the beautiful children, but I had no time to enjoy them. I was trapped, being a robot woman, solving logistical issues for thousands of clients that would never even know or remember my name. I was juggling a lot of snowballs, and I knew I couldn't drop the ball on the Sultan of Saudi Arabia, and I couldn't drop the ball on the Vice President of China. So occasionally the ball that was dropped was the confidence of my kids for showing appreciation and affection to my husband. I know that the absence of joy is misery. What happens when things start to get chaotic and when our relationships crumble? Our happiness diminishes because truly our happiness is really intertwined with the people that we love, the people that are the most important to us. Everything everything else is just fun. It's fun and it's excitement. But our family is where we get definitely our greatest source of joy and happiness. And not everyone can do the drastic measures that we took, but for the benefit of our family, we sold our business and we went from the frozen Alaska tundra to the Costa Rica jungle. And we just took a sabbatical for a few months. And we reconnected and we did zip lines and we did so many fun things together. And again, we shut off the cell phone, so there was none of that distraction. And we just had lots and lots of fun. And now we live in Houston, totally different occupations. My husband is a pilot, and we're really loving and enjoying more time with our family. It's more of a priority for us. And we all smile more and chat more, and I really encourage you to stay family focused. Whether you're engineering dams, or you're building skyscrapers, you're creating businesses, you're talking to the world, whatever it is that you do, stay family focused and keep things in priority. That truly is where we gain our most happiness. So I'll challenge you to work on these 3 things. Develop, keep your attitude of gratitude. Stop, if you can't stop, just read